So I'm doing this live video to touch on what I consider food to be. As I watch my family members, as I watch people around me, it become more than obvious to me that a lot of people don't really understand what food is, and a lot of people are just caught up in like a pattern of what previous generations before them have suggested food is. And we've been in this pattern for so long that we literally are what we eat. So we're like craving more of the shit that we are, because we are what we eat, you know. And we all know the saying, like, misery loves company. Misery, and that goes that applies even down to the microscopic, you know. So it's like, if you have miserable cells in your body, then those miserable cells are gonna strive to encourage more of those cells to be present, so they're not alone anymore. So I want to touch on like just energy. Your food should be your fuel. Whatever you put inside yourself should boost your energy or aid something, nurturing something within your body. And you shouldn't have to sacrifice a discomfort or dis-ease to receive something you think you need in your body. So a lot of us identify with that sleepy feeling that we get after eating a heavy dish. We call it the itis, we call it the itis. And a lot of us identify with that as a satisfying feeling. But what you have to recognize is your food is your fuel. And if food is meant to give you your fuel, your energy, your life force for you to move forward, then why would you, how could it make sense for you to eat something that's slowing you down, that makes you stop, that makes you feel like you need to get rest? Because basically what your body is doing when it goes into that itis phase is that your body is literally telling you, like, you putting way too much for me to process right now, and for me to give you the energy to operate your normal function. So I need to take all of that energy to process that food, which actually end up being counterproductive for what the goal of why you are eating. You're eating to gain more, to, you know what I'm saying, be more vital. So if something is making you less vital, then that in itself should be a clear indication that that's not the right food for you, or it's not the right time for that food. Because it's a timing thing too. It's not a cookie cutter, eat the same thing every day. You know, like you have to really tune into your body and your senses and really be honest as to what your body is calling on, what the body is requesting. And a lot of the times when we've been in these patterns of just eating and eating and eating and eating, not consciously making the effort to connect how I feel to what I eat, then our cells become numb to wanting to receive that nourishment. It's like a blockage to wanna receive what it is that nurtures you. That's why I recognize somebody that's been like eating crazy their whole life. you can suggest to them like, bam, you need to eat more fruit. You need to just eat more healthier. And people try to like go on extreme shifts of their diet, and then they don't feel good. It's like, ooh, like I'm not eating enough. I'm still hungry. Da, 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 you know what I'm saying? And and it's a lot. It's a lot of reasons why that's the case. You know, but you know the point that I'm making is, um, you definitely want to put things in your body that's going to add to the vitality and not take away from it. That's basically, you know what I'm saying, what I'm getting at. Um, if you're eating if you're eating a really heavy dense diet, then it is a process to wean yourself off of certain things that's like aiding in sickness, that's aiding in blockages, that's aiding in mucus. You you wanna you wanna gradually introduce new things into your diet. You don't want to be eating burgers, pizza, this is that and so forth every other day, and then like tomorrow you eat nothing but apples and oranges and salads. Like your 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 body might go into just rejection mode, and then that in itself can encourage you to believe that healthier foods aren't enough because the experience, but it's a lot more to it. You gotta really acclimate yourself to a different diet. um it's tons of indications that you can pay attention to. It's tons of hints that you can tune into with your body that let you know if it's helping your body or if it's stressing your body. One of the first things that I pay attention to, just even in consuming food, is how how long how long ago was this food taken from its source? And not only how long ago was it taken from that source, I I take into consideration how many different processes did this food go through before I consumed it. So automatically, my first priority is raw, whole, organic fruits. And as I go down the list of things that I may potentially entertain, I look at, like, for instance, a lot of people like beans and rice and different pastas as it pertains to like a vegan or a vegetarian diet. But from my understanding and how I understand vitality to be, I stray away from some of those things for the most part. I'm not saying that I don't never eat beans or I don't never eat pasta, but I don't make them a staple. Like, I have to eat those things to feel full or feel like I got enough mass inside of my body to to move forward. So when I look at pasta, for example, I take into consideration all foods come from a source of something growing. So first I'm like, okay, what needed to grow for this pasta to be a reality? I think of the different wheats or whatever grain it took to grow. I'm like, okay, that's the first process. Something grew. a grain. Then it's like the next process is they gotta break the grain down. You know, that's one process, and then they gotta mix the grain with other components, and then that's another process, and then it's like they gotta bake it or cook it, or you know what I'm saying, and it's like it's another process, and then it's like packaging it, and it's a whole nother process. So the more that I'm able to attach more processes than just the actual growing process, the less encouraged I am to put it in my body, because I'm looking for that life force. That's my main thing that I'm focusing on when it comes to eating. Now, when you talk about different minerals, vitamins, and things that the body needs to build, like to build muscle, to build skin, the hair, the different, the iron, the zinc, whatever it is you want to say are components that you need in your body, you being in a balanced space, in a vital space, puts you off rip in a space where you're able to absorb those minerals more conducively for yourself. So a lot of people be trying to figure out the zinc, this, that, whatever elements it is that you may be missing out in your diet, but they don't put enough emphasis on the vitality in their diet, and then they're not really, the elements are not fully processing through their body. They're not fully absorbing all of those elements. Even though you're putting them in your mouth, your body is in a balance, in a vital enough state to absorb those elements. So it's like, first things first, you want to be able to be more vital. You want to be more absorbent. You want to be more pliable. One of my main things that I wake up with in the morning, in the rising, I should say, is lime or lemon water. And what the lime and or lemon water does is it helps me. It First of all, it eases my stomach. It replenishes me. It quenches my thirst in a whole different way than just regular water does. Like it quenches my thirst. It it boosts my energy, and it allows me to finish processing whatever food that's still processing. So shortly thereafter, I have a bowel movement. Um, and that's another thing that I'm paying attention to. Um, if I wake up and I'm drinking my lime and my lemon water, and it takes me kind of a while to make a bowel movement, then that in itself can be an indication that what I ate the previous day wasn't most harmonious for me. A lot of people use what they want to taste on their tongue as the indicator of what you want to eat, what you think you should eat. But you have to be aware enough to pay attention to the full effect of what that food encouraged. And you're not done eating after you swallow. Like your body is literally processing that food and drawing energy, or trying to draw energy off of that food the whole time is in your stomach and your intestines, all the way till you shit it out. It's still trying to, the whole time it's trying to figure out what it could use, what it could, what it can't use. And so I recognize I'm able to recognize what I will or won't entertain to eat. Sometimes it's not made clear to the next day that no, I can't be eating that. Sometimes I might eat something, it might feel good when I ate it, taste good, and then I wake up with a stuffy nose, or I wake up, my tongue is, heavily white, That's an indication that you're over consuming things that's too dense for yourself. Your breath, actually paying attention to your breath. We're under this indication that morning breath is just a thing. And what I notice is the cleaner that I eat, the more harmonious that I eat, the less the idea of morning breath is even a thing for me. It might take me a day or two, maybe even more, for my mouth to even start to collect a certain type of bacteria, for my breath to even smell a certain way anymore. And that in itself started to make me realize, like, damn, like, if it's making my breath stink, then what is it doing on the inside of me? So, what's the other end of that? The shitting, the farting, all of that, I pay close attention to my shit. How it comes out, how comfortable it felt, how much stress did I deal with processing it? How did was it, and this probably sound like too much information, but for you to even be in tune with what you should or should not be eating, you got to be this critical of yourself. I literally pay attention to, was the shit broken up? Was I able to shit one full turd? Was it did it feel sludgy, like it was having a hard time coming out? Was it able to bind together and, fully flush? Did I feel totally empty once I finished shitting? Like it's so many components to your comfort level that you want to pay attention to. A lot of us and a lot of us experience uncomfortable shit emotions. A lot of us encourage a lot of weird shit in the bathroom that we just keep to ourselves, and we don't have these conversations to be able to indicate what's cool, what's not, until it's a situation where it's like so far gone that now we talking about cancers and whatever the case, and then now we're dealing with a sense of hopelessness where it really was a simple fix early on in the process. So I'm gonna pump my brakes right there, because food is so many different aspects. It's so many. I haven't even really gotten to the breathing aspect of eating. Like that's a main component of eating, just breathing. The people you keep around you as they affect the environment and the air and the breath and the water. Like all of that is eating, So I'm gonna stop right there because I know this can get real deep, and I just wanted to break the ice, so to speak, and like encourage this conversation to go deeper, and encourage people's minds to go deeper into the idea of what they really putting into their bodies, because I believe we all got the sensibility to dictate what's most harmonious for our being. So that's it. I'll be on here sharing some more videos soon. And until then, y'all take care. Peace and love.